Boom. Are you guys ready to talk about the illusion of free will? Welcome to AEZ, capital EHEZ. Welcome to the party. Justin, how the hell are you?
I'm good. So for 27 years, there's a man that I've wondered whatever happened to him. 27 years, we wondered whatever happened to WCW legend. I'm here to tell you, everyone, this week, Damon Stryker is all elite.
Jesus Christ.
We got the beautiful Breezy. How we doing?
What's going on, boys? I'm pumped, man. Adam fucking Copeland is all elite. Yes.
We look down and we've got the face of Ura.
That runs the place? Oh, okay.
Yes, it's the face that runs this place.
What's up, everybody? It's been a good week.
It's
a lot of
been
in-rang.
one hell of a week.
A lot
My
of in-rang. A lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of stuff that I'm happy about. A lot of stuff I'm not happy about.
Yeah, I'm going to get right to that. The biggest thing we have to start with, you normally will want to go in tiers and get through all of the in-ring, but this is too big not to miss. Just like TK said, it was the end of an era. And we got to witness the last match of Joya.
I cried. I finished crying today over it, to be honest with you.
It's heartbreaking. We were there for the birth.
Joya, baby, can I get a Joya?
Joya.
So can we? I know it's weird, but please, can Henry go on excursion? Can we have Joya in a tag match at Wrestle Kingdom?
I don't think we'll just put them in the tag league.
No, they put them in the tag league. Put them in the tag league.
But imagine a Wrestle Kingdom entrance.
Yeah,
They
well,
would
yeah.
have to start with the tag league.
Let's bring them to Neo.
Book it.
If they win tag league, they'll be at Wrestle Kingdom.
Fair play.
Yes. Let's go.
See what I did there?
Yes.
Picking up what you're putting down, Uri.
Yeah.
So, besides the most hurtful part of the week with Joya ending, we go to a beginning. What the hell? Adam Copeland made the jump. We talked about it a couple weeks back, probably a month ago, yeah? And it just seemed like a pipe dream that can't happen, and there was a lot of confusion. Could it really happen? No, he's not. He's going to stay home. No, could it happen? It's happening. And we got some mixed reviews. I don't understand them, so I want to explore them. Justin, go ahead. Tell me how you feel.
I don't like it. I don't think AEW needs Edge, especially on a weekly basis.
Just 1 second. I need
50
more of
years
you.
old.
What? 1 second. Welcome to the stage, Maddie.
Hey.
All right, so Maddie, really quick, we just opened the door of Adam Copeland and Justin's tearing it apart. Let's go.
So yeah, I just don't. It's not something that's needed. I'm kind of AEW is supposed to be the alternative, and I'm kind of just sick of old ex-WWE guys in there when there's probably 25 to 40 guys that never get used on television. And yeah, Edge should have stayed in WWE or went back to WCW, as I said earlier.
All right, go ahead. Breezy, respond to that.
First of all, Edge did stay in WWE. It's Adam Copeland that is all elite. So let's get that right off the bat, brother. No, secondly, I'm loving it because of all the fresh matches it's going to open up. And you had that space that you guys kept talking about week after week that space that Phil Brooks, my boy CM Punk, has left behind. So now you got a veteran to step right into that role without all the drama that you guys initially were mad about to begin with. Because Adam Copeland is not going to be a negative guy. He's not going to be a guy you can't approach. And he's going to be a guy that's going to elevate the younger talent and also have those veterans dream matches that we haven't been able to see yet, such as possibly Sting. So, I mean, I'm good with it, boys. I'm fucking pumped.
All right. I want to jump in on Breezy and attack you now, Justin. You said something that makes me so confused. Like, you're sick of the WWE guys coming to AEW, but you can sit there with a straight face and say Christian's work in AEW has been his best work of all time.
Yes, I get what you're saying, but like, what do we do with the other 40 guys that are on the roster that are now no longer going to still get a spot that they also could have used when that Pepsi Phil cancer left himself? There's still 45 guys they're not doing shit all with.
45 guys that they're not doing shit all with because they're not the guys that will fill the seats like Adam Copeland, CM Punk. We need those. Jade Cargill's gone. As much as she was, Uri, do you not feel she passed the airport test?
Well, yeah, she definitely passed the airport test. But you're like, you know, to agree with Drummond, like I'm not mad that Edge is there. I wanted a specific thing, and they're not going in that direction. I'm sure they will eventually, and that's fine. But my thing is like, and this is not an Edge thing because I think Edge will attempt to help the talent. But in terms of an on-screen booking standpoint, TK doesn't know how to get the rub on new guys with veterans, and that's where my issue is. How much is he actually going to be able to help?
Okay, before we go to you, Breezy, I want to give Matt a spot on this. What do you think?
I'm going to say Edge or I guess not Edge, but Adam Copeland and Christian. I'm going to call it as feud of the year because these guys, once the promos are going to be amazing, they're going to be so good because Christian is at his best character in his line. He is fucking quick, and they work so well together, guaranteed. And don't get it twisted. I know, Justin, you'd said, hey, that AEW was supposed to be the alternative, but you can't get it twisted. At the end of the day, it's still a sports entertainment marketing company that's looking to make money. And Tony Khan is a promoter, and promoters go with the hot hand, and he's come in. And who's to say? I know you say there's a lot of guys out there that need to come up. Okay, they're going to earn their stripes, but this is a guy who's been a fucking genius, and he has thrived how much he can bring to everybody. And like I said, Christian is at his peak. You watch, like, these guys are going to be both at their peak because there's not a chance that Christian's going to be at his peak if Adam is not at his peak as well. Like, it's going to be
iron sharpens iron.
Sure, you watch. So I guarantee,
especially when they're 50.
Hey, Jericho's still putting on matches.
I'll get to Jericho later.
Oh, don't.
No.
Yep.
So I think
me too.
It's going to be good. I think his character's going to be good. He's going to go out the way, he wants to go out. He's going to perform at his best. This is what he walked away from WWE to do this. He is, at the end of the day, he is a professional wrestler. So give him his credit, give him a chance, and see what he's going to do in AEW.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against him going there. I'm not against him doing what he wants to. I'm happy that he gets to do that with his buddy. My thing is there comes a time where you need to start pushing these younger guys, and they need to get the rub off these older guys, and it's not really happening right now.
So that's what was going to be my argument, because he's done that, and by he I mean TK, with Sting by elevating Darby. By having Darby with Sting, you immediately elevate him to holy shit, Sting is with Darby Allin. So now all Darby's fans are going to look at Sting, look at his archive footage, You're going to create new fans, and you're just going to build Darby from there. You've also done this with Jericho, with Sammy Guevara, and you've also done this with Bryan Danielson. And
Ricky.
Now he's going to do it with Adam
Sparks.
Sammy and Ricky are the only ones. I think if Sting never goes to AEW, Darby's still in the same spot. Because he is still in the same spot he was before Sting got there.
I disagree, because he main evented.
Orange Cassidy took the rub from Jericho with the mimosa.
Yeah.
His push ended though for a while, and then he came back. If that mimosa match doesn't happen, Orange Cassidy's still in the same spot.
Also, Sting only wrestles 4 times a year as well. I want to put that out there.
What? No, I want Brandon. What did you just say?
Two matches on Roman Reigns.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you said something. Can you repeat what you the last thing that you said?
I was just saying the other guy would have been Bryan Danielson as well. He's an older guy, a former WWE guy, but he's elevated other guys.
Who?
Ricky Starks.
Yes.
Ricky Starks was already there with Phil. He was already.
No, you can't keep saying that somebody is already there, because clearly they're not. If TK's put in these veterans into that position.
I said he was already getting there with Phil. All they did was replace Phil with Bryan.
Much better.
I'm not disputing that. But I'll give you Sammy, because I agree with Sammy. But and I'll give you Ricky. But other than that, there's really...
I got the biggest one.
Nobody. Who?
The one that rubs every time. He's giving more of a rub than he gets with everybody. Is MJF. He was fed everybody.
Yeah, but he didn't. But MJF.
And the only issue with saying MJF is accidentally or amazingly magically he rubs as he's getting the rub, which you have to pay for in most cities.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't needed to be put with anybody because he's already massively. He's probably the most over guy in that company.
The other thing, too, with Adam Copeland, boys, he could have looked at this as a money grab, as a part-time thing. No, he said he wants to be there for Collision and Dynamite. He wants to be there for all the shows. He wants to be full-time. So,
and I'm cool with that.
A wrestler the caliber of Adam Copeland wanting to do that is only going to benefit the lower-tier guys. Because you're gonna have to utilize those guys if he's there full-time. I could get if he was there part-time, that he's only going to have certain allotted guys to work with. But the fact he's going to be there full time, now even more people are going to get the chance to move up and learn off of Adam.
Well, we hope that.
Yeah, Maddie.
I was going to say, just to make note, just for anyone who is actually questioning Edge not working or potentially when's he going to start working with the younger talent, the first 2 guys that he actually hits in the ring are 2 of the youngest talents in the company. The first guys. So he interacted with those guys, and I think his first actual move was on Luchasaurus. So he's dived right in. He's shook the hand of Darby as the other main young talent. So I think he's plopping himself right into the young guys.
Right. Okay, we're gonna wait. No, we're gonna play a game here. Adam Copeland dream match in AEW. Go. Breezy.
Adam Copeland and Kenny Omega.
Ooh, Drummond. You've got one. Don't act like you don't. It's happening on Wednesday.
It's happening next Tuesday, but yeah, I guess Adam Copeland versus Luchasaurus.
See? All right, Maddie, where is it?
Besides with Christian, if we're doing besides that one, because that to me is the dream match. That's what's going to happen. But I think a great match would be with him and Samoa Joe.
Ooh.
I think he hasn't worked with Samoa Joe yet.
Yeah. I want Christian Cage and Sexton Hardcastle versus FTR.
Yeah. I thought about this earlier, and I go over my usual suspects, but the person that I feel in ring that they can make magic is Adam Cole and Adam Copeland. Yeah, Breezy.
Yeah, I'm in for that. I'm actually in for that.
Are there not like similarities to their styles, to the way they work? Like
and the Adam chant can go both ways, like it did with Adam Page.
Adam's winning. Yes.
I actually want to see Hangman and Edge. I won't lie about
Ooh.
Honorable mentioned Switchblade as well. Switchblade and Adam Copeland would be a banger.
Jack Perry.
See?
I'm into it.
Swerve.
Just line them up and fucking let TK knock them down. I'm down to watch them all.
Yeah, like I said, I'm down to watch
Swerve.
They'll be good matches. I just want everyone to get to be benefited from it. I want it to be beneficial for everybody.
So what you're saying is your dream match right now outside of FTR is Action Andretti. And with that, we're going to go to the bangers of the week. We're going to do it differently. Everybody's got a banger. Let's start with the Drumblebee Tuna. It's Justin.
So I'm going to go with the main event from NXT. Whatever it was called on the weekend.
No Mercy.
No Mercy. I don't know how I forgot that. Becky Lynch versus Tiffany Stratton.
This is very interesting because I watched that match. Why is it your banger of the week?
I really liked when there was the Shield spot with the garbage can lid.
That was Dusty's favorite spot.
I dig it. Uri, what's your banger?
Hangman and Swerve.
That one was pretty amazing. We're going to break that down a little further into the show. Breezy, where are you?
It's Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. I mean, that match was a freaking clinic. It's one of the best pro wrestling matches I've ever seen, not just this year. And honorable mention, this is what I was hitting at earlier, boys. It's my other banger of the week. Jon Moxley on commentary.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Maddie, do you got a banger, the one that got to you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely I agree with Breezy. That was a really good match. But what left me, what's imprinted in my brain was the Christian and Darby match, especially those fucking drops on the stairs, man.
Hold on. Let's not break down the pay-per-view matches yet because I want to go into detail on each one of them. So we're gonna hold back on that. I don't want to talk about the stairs yet. It's like PTSD every time they come up. I'm on TikTok and it's every third one is thump, 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 and I'm like, banger of the week. I mean, I really enjoyed Claudio and Josh Barnett on the pre-show of 0 Hour. They came in hard hitting. There was storytelling to it. Barnett having a history that you kind of just loved it. So that one got me in a soft spot. Of course, I could sit there and go with the entire pay-per-view because it was pretty awesome. And we did have a secondary pay-per-view, like that was mentioned, was the No Mercy, in which we got Dragunov finally getting the title and holding it. When he realized that he won, Uri, the look on his face when he realized it was a 3 count, there was so much storytelling in that moment.
Yeah, it's that's one thing that I think wrestling has lost a little bit, and that's facial expressions. That goes along with the selling, but even the happy stuff too.
Yeah, I find that with pornography as well.
Exactly. It was one thing that I think some of us got hyped up with Mansoor about was because his facial expressions were awesome. So I think and it adds to the moment. Like when he was adulated that he won that title, and you saw it on his face, like you might be a Carmelo Hayes fan, he might be your favorite guy, but you're at least happy for Ilya Dragunov just based off his reaction.
Yeah, it meant something to him.
Yeah,
absolutely did. I think the storytelling was sound in that one, and I enjoyed the ride. What's going on with Mello?
I think he's gonna feud with Trick. I don't know who turns on who at this moment, but it might be Mello turning on Trick.
Yeah. Mello turns heel, has a run with Trick, and then gets called up and joins Lashley and the Profits.
That's what I was thinking the prediction was. That's exactly where I thought it was.
I don't think he needs it because he can talk on the mic, but they might put him in there because he's smaller.
There might be another reason. Urai.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a gripe over on the New York side of things, huh?
I got a couple gripes.
Yeah. The big one. Talk about it.
So from a storyline perspective, it does make sense, and I understand why. But who did Cody and Jey Uso beat to get a tag title shot?
First of all, we made rules at the beginning of this podcast when it came to tag teams. They had to have matching outfits, and they had to have the same theme music.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have either.
Tag team.
They didn't have either.
Like I think it could be match of the night. I really do. I don't think they win. At least I really hope not. Because I'd rather see Jay beat Gunther, to be honest with you. But like, so Jay just went from teaming with his brother to teaming with Cody.
Yep.
Like
it makes sense.
Yeah.
It was
like I said, storyline wise, it does make sense. But so you just have to bring someone over to another brand, be their friend, and then you get a tag title shot. I don't get it. Like, I just don't. It doesn't make sense from like a, wins and losses matter standpoint, especially coming from the guy who's always says wins and losses matter.
Yes.
And my other gripe was Dragon Lee not being able to cross the barricade to help LWO. Being held back by security after years and years and years of wrestlers hopping barricades, he was the one that was stopped. And I don't understand that one either. Unless he's going to be the third guy with Santos and Ray in that 6-man tag on Saturday. I don't understand why he was held back.
That would be cool. I would say it's because he's an NXT talent and not a SmackDown talent. But that's if you're wanting to put a little bit of logic on it, because I didn't think it made much sense either.
I did like Santi's app. Yeah, Breeze?
Yeah.
He threw out a prediction, and I kind of was okay with it, that somebody else gets involved in the LWO, kicks out Ray, and makes them a prick team, and that's Carlito.
I like that.
I mean, he did. I mean, ironically, he's been signed since like June or July, and he hasn't appeared once, and he was not released.
Yeah, they just don't have anything for you, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, what if with that? What if you've got Dominic ends up getting kicked out of Judgment Day? He ends up the new face of the LWO when they do the whole turn, and then I guess he's putting him back fighting with his father again, or kicking out his father. But because he's such a heel, that's kind of like the Eddie Guerrero character.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would that work?
Maybe they were. Do you know what? It does. It has WWE written all over it.
I want there to be a spot if the LWO do turn heel, and I think eventually that they do. I want someone to be the Eddie Guerrero, and if they beat someone, they have to join the LWO. That was one of my favorite things about the LWO, was every time Eddie beat someone, they had to join. And I want that to be a thing. I also would like if they brought in previous members as like a one-off, because I'd love an El Dandy appearance.
You and Bret Hart. Oh,
yeah.
It's good. It's good. I do want to touch on it. I know we're going pretty heavy fed here, but it's getting good. There's some good stuff. What about Nakamura?
I do actually like that they're letting him actually tell his story the way he can comfortably in his own language. And I think I like how they're doing the subtitles on there as well. Because again, people are getting used to that now. I think there's a lot of these mixed type of shows that people are used to subtitles now. And it also, they want to hear the Japanese because that's like the evilness, right? That he gets his character across. So I think it's perfect. he was one of these guys. It was like, what are you doing with him? Like, use him or let him go. Where is he? He just felt lost. His character was weird. You know, the communication was weird. So no, I think this is a good character, and he does make a good heel.
Yeah,
that's a great point. It's more authentic when he's doing those vignettes, and you can hear the emotion in his voice when he's speaking in his native language. Absolutely, and it's getting him back to that megastar feel when he was in New Japan. And also, if they want to go with Nakamura beating Seth, you keep Seth strong because you're not pinning him and you're not tapping him out. It's a last man standing match. And they just signed that TV deal in Japan. So what better way to, usher in that era, no pun intended, than with a Japanese world champion, first one ever. It works.
Yeah. And that's actually believable. That makes sense.
Yeah. I'm cool. I'm cool with Nakamura beating Seth. I've always liked Nakamura.
Yeah,
I liked him so much. Even when Brandon missed his entrance that time in Toronto, it was big about that's how much I like Nakamura.
Good times.
Could you really think? If they actually, because you can see there's like elements of kind of that Bray Wyatt type of feel sometimes that he can bring, because he does have a bit of a twisted sense. His facial expressions are twisted. His storytelling can be twisted. Like, do you think they could actually go down a road and make him almost, I don't know, not like Undertaker-ish, but like Bray Wyatt-ish, a little bit like more
like mystical. An anime character, kind of like they did at the one PLE where they had the intro for him.
Yeah, like I think he could probably pull off a character more like that. I mean, that's, I don't know. Do you guys think like his character could develop more? Or,
I mean, it's WWE. Anything can happen.
Yeah, it's sports entertainment, and that shit's entertaining. So
100%.
As Vince used to say, anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation.
Anything.
Don't you dare miss it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Horowitz wins. Horowitz wins.
Cinch him up.
So we run back over to the AEW world. We had a couple shows get in before the pay-per-views, so I broke them down for the important things, especially the boat, the yacht. That was hilarious.
Captain Insano in the water killed me.
Oh, wait.
Absolutely killed me. And then the camera cut to where all three of them are lined up drinking the beer. I literally laughed out loud, and I never do that anymore with wrestling. That shit was funny.
Yeah. They look like they're having fun making these things, man. Like they used to. Like, just let them have some creative control, and it's entertaining.
Absolutely, it is. As soon as they had the Captain Insano spot, they immediately released him as a micro for the next pickup. So I'll be on that. Now they're still playing to Max throwing the punch. Puts on the ring. Hey, Max, were you going to? No. Okay, so we're still hinting. I think that's going to grow old. I don't know if I really care for that. I like the friend. I think that's what we loved about Kevin Owens and Jericho so much, because we didn't give a shit about the turns. We actually started capturing the friendship.
Yeah.
And this one will hurt. Yeah, go ahead.
I think we're at a point where we know the turn's happening, so like you don't need to tease it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we always knew that once KO won the Universal title, I think we knew that turn was eventually going to happen. And they teased it like the one time in Toronto, and we were all there and we booed. But like I don't think that you need to keep teasing it every time that you do that you're getting to a different part of the story.
Yeah.
I'm already done with the teases. I think they've done it too many times. And yeah, I think we could move on and just get kind of not tease it so much for when it does happen. There is still maybe a shock factor to it.
You're saying there'll be a shock to the system?
Ooh.
I'm just saying that if we keep seeing Captain Insano, I hope one day we're going to get Rob Schneider saying you can do it. That's all I'm going to
You can do it.
You could totally pay Rob Schneider to come out and be in the crowd with a hot mic, and he's just standing there with a pitchfork. You can't do it. Come on. It would be no reason for it to exist, but I feel like Tony would spend that money. We go to a little more of the Adam Cole talk, playing into Roddy Strong still having this weird hold. Let's go to Roddy's place. We'll talk at Roddy's place. It's still developing over there. MJF is going to be taking on two men. He barely likes to work any matches, but he's going to fight two men at the pay-per-view. And then following that, we get something that got Breezy going. MJF and Jay White in the ring with microphones. Breezy, where are you?
I thought it was awesome. I thought Jay White held his own. I thought he didn't stumble on any of his words. I think he's an actual credible threat to Max. He's undefeated. He's got his own heel faction that can do those dastardly things that he needs to do, just like a scumbag like MJF would do. So he's a very credible threat to him in his title.
Man, you need to put Pac with him, Switchblade. Those guys would be phenomenal. I love the way they talk. I love Switchblade. Definitely has a different way he does a promo, which is awesome. I really liked it because MJF was really, really going off, and I just love how he came back and kind of he proved himself. So yeah, he does do a good promo. It was good.
100%. But a lot of people will get flustered when Max, throws the heavy artillery. And I didn't even think it fazed Jay White. And in fact, he stepped closer to Max and was right up in his face. And they had a good back and forth. They had my attention. I'm intrigued with the program and where it's going.
I'm going to jump on it. I definitely agree with everything you said. I agree that Jay White doesn't stumble when he's holding a mic. I agree that he's very capable of taking that title. That's believable. I feel going toe-to-toe with MJF, I'm starting to think that, I'm going to be brutal to say, I don't know if there's many people in AEW that can take it to the level with MJF.
And I'm not saying that he overtook him or
I hear that.
Like battle. I'm just saying that I gave him props for it hanging in there.
Yes,
because nobody can out-talk Max. And I'm a Jay White mark. You know this about me. I'm not saying that he won that by any means. I'm just happy that he didn't get lost in the shuffle.
Yes,
he stood toe-to-toe and still kept me captive.
And Jay White is in the position he needs to be, and he'll do great things in this position. But the idea is I immediately thought about bringing Jay White down, because when I first thought about it and listened to my head, I was like, Jay White really can't stand next to MJF because MJF is putting out verbal tirades that are so connected to make sense and still grabbing the crowd off of the stupidest things a la The Rock, tofu. And I started thinking, if he can manhandle Jay White, who else can he manhandle? And I didn't have too many in the AEW locker room that can hang. So now I'm starting to think, 24, I'm not against him walking through the door.
Oh.
I thought about this earlier this week, and I actually am serious about it, because John Cena's against MJF's. Roman's gotten really credible on a mic. MJF's. Cody and MJF's legacy hasn't ended. If timing works out the way that it should go, it would work. Seth freaking Rollins in the ring with microphones with MJF.
Yeah, buddy.
So I'm hard to say, like, I'm such a hardo for the AEW brand because all my legends are there. But this is something that I would be okay with happening now, and I've accepted it as something because I don't think there's anybody, like, it'll be a big hole, but somebody else will fill it.
Well, I feel like we're in a place where WWE is going after younger guys, so he'd fit that, and AEW is becoming wheelchair wrestling like WCW was.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Whoa.
I'm teasing. I agree with MJF going there. I think I wouldn't be upset either way. If he stays, he stays. If he goes, he goes. As long as he's at that level and he stays there and he can do what he does, then I'm good with whatever. Even if let him go to New Japan even.
Can we now do?
In Japan.
He doesn't like.
Can we now do MJF 3 matches?
Yeah, I'm in. Let's go. All right, I'm taking Seth right away. Drummond, who do you have?
Dominic Mysterio.
Okay, I love it. All right, Maddie, MJF versus a Fed boy.
Roman.
Oh, yeah. It reeks of gold in the ring. Talk to me, Breezy.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Kevin Owens.
Damn it, you stole mine.
Both on the mic and in ring.
He stole mine.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Money.
Come on, Urai.
I got to think now because mine was stolen. I'm just thinking.
I'll hold this one while you're thinking.
Yeah.
The Miz.
Yep, I'm in.
Absolutely.
Okay, I got one back now.
Yeah.
LA Knight.
Oh.
Yeah.
Put that in your coffee and taste it, Breezy.
Yes. Oh my God, off the rails and back on with Swerve and Hangman's promo.
Oh my God.
It's hard to follow that. Swerve and Hangman's promo.
The contract signing?
Yes.
I loved it. I don't think I had anything bad to say about Dynamite last week. I really liked it. I loved the contract signing. They spoke truths. And it wasn't. Yeah, I didn't hear him talk about how he wasn't given opportunity again, and it was good. I really enjoyed it.
A little stab action. As we kill off Dynamite, we skip over Rampage. We run to Collision because this match was. Yeah, I automatically got to tell you, this should have been the banger of the week for me. But I wanted to go outside of AEW on it. But Andrade and Juice. What
Guns up, baby.
And every time it's Juice. Juice is the Bullet Club Gold for me. He's screaming at the ref. And I popped so hard. He pulled my hair. And I'm just, his face. The ref is completely captured. You're captured. Wait a second. They're attacking him on the floor. He's still doing the pull of hair. I'm sold. The whole match I was sold. Andrade, I didn't realize is actually a magician like Nigel McGuinness. He threw that jacket off and that person disappeared in the crowd. We go further in the show and you had Kingdom and Best Friends. Only reason I had to bring this up is Wiener Punch Pile Driver. I don't know how you guys are feeling about Kingdom and the Righteous, but they're definitely getting some push here.
So, funny thing about that match is Drummond showed up at my house as that match was starting.
Yeah.
And the first thing he heard was punch him in the wiener.
Yes. Punch him in the wiener.
After we're done talking about Collision, are we going to circle back to the ending of Dynamite?
Yes.
Okay, because what the hell?
I want to hold that out. We get a couple pushes on the tag team division. I like Kingdom on there. I think it's funny that they were ROH rejects, went over to Impact. Now they're right back where they should have gone right away. I don't understand it. They're all talented as fuck, all 4 of them. Love all of their pushes. Jericho and Kenny in a tag match. I don't care. Go ahead. Hoorah. Tell me why you're hating on Jericho. Is it from the pay-per-view or this?
No, it's from like a combination of things. Like I don't know if it's the babyface turn or the Sammy match that was good but kind of sloppy, and then this match where he did his like corner turnbuckle dropkick spot and could barely get off the rope to hit the dropkick. I feel like he's lost something.
Well, he's old.
I get that, but I mean, but if we're gonna say that he's old, then we got to say, well, why? Then we got to go back to, well, why is TK signing Edge and Christian when they're 50 years old, right? So I mean, I don't want to say it's his age because then, like I said, we got to say Edge and Christian. But I feel like he's lost something lately. In the past couple months, something's been different, and I don't know what it is. But I feel like I it's catching up to him, and it might be his age.
Wait. Let's think about this. Let's break this down. How many times has he been off for a while?
Very rare.
Like, think about that. When was the last time he actually, like, he's touring with
or his
Ozzy.
cruise?
The cruise he's building up, but he's got people run that for him. He only has to be there.
Right. And
then he's got his podcast, and then he's got AEW.
Yeah, and I mean, and it could be very well that he's working himself too thin. I'm not saying that that's not a possibility.
Yeah, I'm just trying to defend the Ayatollah.
You're I'm not, and I mean, I'm as big as a Chris Jericho fan as anybody else.
Close to.
I think part of what's changing is Jericho is a big part of the backstage, a big part of the story writing about who's coming in. He's a big part. So he's taking that role. So when you kind of see, like, when he's doing his segments, he's kind of really big on the storytelling now, as opposed to just being Jericho. So his mindset's changing. He's also the promoter. He's promoting these guys, right? So maybe that's what's changing a little bit, right?
But his promos aren't the same.
Yep.
And his matches, there's moves that he can't really do anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I get what you're saying from a he's pushing it standpoint, and that's fine. But he's lost something. And
but he also just turned face to heel, so he's having to adapt to that again too.
Yes.
Yeah, but how many times has he done that? And he picks it up right away.
How many times
in
has
AEW.
he gotten over as a face?
How many times he's gotten over as a face?
And stayed there?
Not as hot
numerous
since
times.
the Attitude Era, in my opinion.
No.
As a baby face, no, I
Attitude
can
Era,
agree with that.
But
I can agree with that. I would say that since he left in 2005 and came back in 2008 as a babyface, yeah, I can agree with that.
So can you ignore slip-ups for the factor of he may realize that the time is coming, and if you base down the amount of matches he's putting in and the type of matches he's putting in, trying to get Sammy over AF, pushing on Takesha. I hear you, but I think I completely ignore his missing the lion salt every time the guy Sammy has to climb across the ring to catch it. Yes, I get it, but I'm not going to worry about those things because it's still like, are you going to worry when Sting's standing in the corner when they're trying to do a splash and he doesn't know to get out of the way? Like,
I am going to worry about that.
Ignore those. Enjoy when he's gone, he's gone.
Right? No, and I get that. And this is not a shit on Jericho thing.
In my opinion, he's earned enough to get away with a little slip up here and there. He's Chris fucking Jericho, boys.
But are we also going to ignore that all of his promos are getting worse and he sounds monotone, like he's reading off a script in a teleprompter every single time too?
Like, and I agree with Dusty. He might be wearing himself a little too thin.
Hold on. You're going to shit on his promos.
Well, they haven't
Yeah,
been very good
they're
lately.
not good anymore.
He's
They're not good anymore.
trying to be good
Get him,
for
Dusty.
himself to get over.
Get him.
What?
He's literally building Sammy. So each promo they've done have been basic AF, and Sammy's got to put up the weight because Jericho knows there's no point in putting him over. Every time he does it, he ends up being more over than the other guy.
But you would think that Jericho, you would think that Jericho would cut these amazing promos to help Sammy get on par with him, and then also get him to that next level.
But he's also having to help get the Don Callis family over too. So like his hands are in more than one storyline. Like Matt was saying earlier, it's not just him and one other guy. It's him literally trying to elevate everybody. Sammy, Takeshita,
Right.
A little bit of Will Ospreay in there.
So again, I'll say this. I agree with Dusty that maybe he's wearing himself too thin.
Okay. So enjoy him while you have him, because guess what? When he's done wrestling and you don't see him on TV, there'll be a hole. There will be a massive hole on wrestling television because he's gone.
I can agree with that, but I
We
want
felt
to
it every time he left WWE.
say that again, bud.
We felt this hole every time he wasn't on WWE.
I would say the first time.
Oh, the second time I waited. That was easy for me to walk away.
Because I think after that, after his first time when he left again, we knew it was only part-time stuff after that. So we knew he'd come and go as he pleased.
Which we got Manias, we got Rumbles.
Yeah.
Now, let's let him do whatever the fuck he wants and just look at the national treasure of Canada.
Oh, not Nick Aldis. Okay.
Love him. Love him. Clusterfuck tag. Okay, so then we can jump in. So, who the fuck is it?
The five guys.
The Devil Mask.
We're gonna do it like this.
Who attacked my boy?
Breezy. Who's in the mask?
Nick Nemeth.
Okay. Zach, who is in the mask?
Mustafa Ali.
Okay. Justin, who is in the damn mask?
Stokely Hathaway in the Firm.
Maddie, who's in the mask?
I don't know, man. Does everyone think it's someone from outside coming in, making an appearance?
Well,
like
that's what everybody's saying, right? I'll give you mine.
Or is this someone who's maybe just been off the roster for a bit and then coming up?
It could even be somebody on the roster.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
Like who's kind of coming back? It wouldn't be, who we talked about that's ready to come back or waiting for them. When's that going to happen? Like who's the guys who are sitting up or waiting on?
You got to think too that they're kind of framing MJF, right?
Right.
Yep.
So, I said Mustafa Ali, and that was that was kind of a joke. But I mean, who's to say it's not?
No, hold on. What's wrong with Mustafa Ali?
Nothing's wrong with Mustafa Ali. I thought you were going to ask us who we all thought was under the mask, and then I was going to say Shane Haste and Massey later too. But
I think it's Roddy.
Slapjack.
Yes, Slapjack. It might be Adam Cole.
I would love
it. The whole time.
That'd be badass.
I say it's Roddy Strong and the boys.
All right. I've gone over and I was like, yeah, Roddy. I was like Adam Cole. I was like Kyle O'Reilly. Any of those made sense, but this is who I think it was. Who did they attack?
Jay White.
And that's why I think it's Bullet Club. It's Finley. It's Ace. It's Bay. They're coming to slap them around for using the Bullet Club name. And I think Connors and the boys, and it makes sense for a one-off I don't know where it would happen, whether Japan would get it and it was just a tease for them and it builds for good mystery TV. But I like that because that's one unanswered question. You're carrying around the Bullet Club, but you're not recognized. So let's answer to that.
It's Bullet Club Gold, baby.
But if they're coming in basically saying, hey, you can't use our name, or like, hey, that's our thing, they're going to come in proud and showing it off as opposed to hiding behind a JF gimmick, right?
Okay,
I mean, if that's the case, you know, if they're going to come big and say we're Bullet Club, they're going to come big and announce it, right? They're not going to hide behind it. That's what I think. If it was a big crew like that.
You definitely shot down my theory. I'm good with it.
Good job, man.
So I'm going back to Kyle O'Reilly. So the great thing about doing this mask thing is obviously the person that was wearing the mask wasn't the man wearing the mask.
Correct.
We don't know if it's a timing thing or how long they need to keep attacking. And we could get a couple months out of this.
Yeah, I would say just about 90 days, eh, boys?
You know what I mean?
Just about 90 days.
I feel like this is going to be like that time when Raven had that ninja mystery chick and it turned out to be Tori.
Oh, what if it's actually MJF? But that's because then he's kind of doing his Fiend, like he's trying to be the good guy, but then he still has the evil side.
I think it's too obvious.
Yeah.
No, I mean, is it so? Because it's almost too obvious to be obvious, where you're like, oh, it can't be him. Like you're saying, no, because it's too obvious. Wouldn't it be like?
I agree with you, but from a fan response standpoint, I think if they did that, you would get boos, and not in a good way.
So when we see Andrade take off the mask and he's back with Faction and Granables, and they're the ones that attack Jay White because Andrade got exposed twice by the team. So,
or if it's Roosh and the boys.
That's what I'm saying.
I want it back. I like that crew, man. That's a good crew. They never got a good chance, a good run. Someone always was gone.
Who's the LFI?
No. The faction or whatever.
Yeah, LFI. Yeah.
Okay.
But if you go Roosh and Andrade, they should be tag teaming. Put the titles on. Put the damn titles on. That makes sense.
Who do you want the titles on? LFI?
Russian, no, LMFAO, but and Andrade.
I thought that's what they were doing when Andrade was feuding with the House of Black.
Yeah.
And now we have this kind of subpar acclaimed run.
So in the end, no one knows who it is. And if it is Dolph, and he's bringing back the Wingman.
No.
And Pretty Peter Avalon gets more TV time. I'm in. Let's go. We head over to the P.
I'm excited.
I'm gonna skip past the pre-show because obviously we talked about Claudio, and that one was good. And then we go right into the Click Man himself, Mr. I Wish I Was Bray.
There's something I want to talk about on the pre-show. My favorite part of the pre-show.
No.
So there's two parts. One was Tony Khan knocking over the photo during the ceremony. And two was when they showed Antonio Inoki's grandchildren, they went to Christian for 3 seconds, which was hilarious.
All right.
He's very concerned for those two young men, Drummond.
Oh, I'm sure he was.
I really have a new thing I want to do with what happened after the pay-per-view, but I want to talk about the presser because that press conference may have been just as damn good as the damn show.
The presser was good. It was like 2.5 hours.
It was 2.5 hours of, oh my God. I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet.
No, you got to hear some of the things that were said. So in response to what Drummond just brought up, Christian on the presser goes, he was a good granddaddy. I was done. When he's looking at the grandchildren. No, he said they lost their granddaddy.
Yeah, TK asked him why he was watching it, and he goes, "They lost their grandfather." Sad thing. I was like, "What the fuck?"
I don't even want to talk about the pay-per-view. I want to talk about the brilliance that was Christian in that presser, but we got to get through this pay-per-view.
Did you guys just have like a glitch there?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the Matrix.
We're live, pal. We can't. You know.
So
Thank God
MJF versus the Righteous. He has them in the palm of his hand. This was probably a little softer of a match. He definitely played well to the role. I think it's pretty fun that he had this type of match in the rest of the card. You didn't need MJF to be one of the top 3 matches for this card to be good.
No.
He opened the show. Go ahead, Zach.
One thing I love about MJF is when he like talks about a match, he'll say a move that he's gonna do, and then you wait for that move.
Yes.
Like when he.
How is he doing this?
He puts emphasis on the word.
When he said he was gonna take Vincent's dreads and put his head up Dutch's ass, and then he did it. And then he
said, "I'm gonna hit him with a body slam," and that's how he said it.
Yeah.
And then you knew that he was gonna get body slam over.
And when he body slammed back in the show prior, when he had Big Bill, and he kept building how much Big Bill weighed. I don't know. He's done something, and he's hatched into something that we knew could be something, but it's so hard to be a face in this industry nowadays. Like Cody got booed. If you think about that, Cody was getting booed as a face. Now, when you think about those words, knowing how much of a face he is in Fed and how good it is, he got booed. And you look at Roman, he had to go heel. He had to go through cancer for the crowd to jump on his side. It was like a face is a hard thing to be in wrestling and for it to connect.
It's been like that for 25
years. When you look
at
MJF, all he's doing is connecting for the stupidest moves, but we're so happy that they're happening.
Well, I mean, it's like I gave you that comparison to The Rock, right?
Yes.
How many times The Rock come out and make fun of somebody, but we still cheered him because he was a good guy.
Yes.
Or he was entertaining or whatever, right?
But you're comparing MJF to The Rock.
Yes.
That's how beautiful this is.
Yes.
When he says he's a generational talent, he's Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
It's legit. He is a generational talent, and we're getting to see something. And okay, if AEW is his testing ground to play, then when he goes over to the other side, just imagine what he can bring to the table. I don't care. Every day that MJF's on TV is good day, so let's get more of it. One match that got a lot of heat with some community, but I sat and defended it the whole way through because not everybody believes in Eddie Kingston. There's still the WWE early 80s community that think of a wrestler to be a big, muscular print of a human. And when Eddie Kingston comes in and it's Eddie Kingston, they're like, what the hell is this? Okay. Eddie Kingston versus Shibata made believers out of 2 people. And it's simple. It's Shibata-san. Breezy, how'd you feel?
It was what we thought it was going to be, a hard-hitting, strong-style match to get Eddie a big win and also keep Shibata strong as the Ring of Honor Pure Champion. That was a good match. Hard-hitting. I enjoyed it. It was nothing like that they're going to build off of. It felt like a one-and-done, which I'm fine with. They can both go on and do their separate things. It was just unfortunate that a big platform like a pay-per-view that you're not building towards something else with Eddie, because now I'm wondering what he's going to do next.
He's wearing the mask. It's Eddie. There was a lot of moments of respect. Knowing Shibata's relationship to Inoki, it was a match that had to be on this card. I don't know, like, same thing with Jericho. Obviously, Shibata's a difference in age, but Shibata's also beating the shit out of his body to the point where we worry when he's in the ring. Every time he's having a match and I watch him take a dump to the head, I immediately have a heart murmur. I get so bothered. And Maddie, I don't know if you know his history. He was over against Okada in New Japan, and they were having one of the most devastatingly hard-hitting matches, and they started headbutting each other. Urai, do you remember the injury of what it was said to his brain?
For who?
For Shibata.
He did he got a he was in a coma.
Yes.
After doing the headbutt.
So the type of damage his head took, he was away from wrestling for so long. And we never thought we were going to see him again. And when he started working with the dojo, it's funny because all of those students, I think we could agree from a Japanese point of view, are in positions and are in strong places in New Japan. They are the next level of wrestler. Now, at the presser, Shibata had me rolling. Of course, he's there with Orange Cassidy, and we'll get to Orange because, my God, is he a beautiful human and everything he does. But Shibata,
the digital interpreter,
translator on his phone.
Yeah.
Then Tony basically says, I'd love to have you back anytime you want to come back. And Shibata's response was he would be open to a permanent spot. Now, I don't want that to be as heavily in ring because of the injuries he did sustain, and that does worry me. But as a teacher, as a in-ring professional of strong style in AEW for the youngers coming up, I feel could only be good. Kind of feels like we've got some hands that I'm happy to be holding AEW for the future kids. Now let's see if they actually get somewhere, because when we build a kid, we don't give her the W. Justin, wide stat win, wide stat win.
Well, I mean, she just got the title not too long ago. I mean, with how long Jade held the title, the person who beat Jade was obviously a big deal and was supposed to get a rub off of Statlander, and I just don't think it's been long enough. But it's kind of been a boring reign. So I think you kind of have to at least give it a chance to a little bit longer and see what it could be.
I agree with you. It's definitely been a boring reign. I feel like they should have put it on Julia, just like how strong she was going into that match. 27 straight wins, 17-month undefeated streak. And I feel like the crowd was ready to embrace Julia as like a next level in the women's division. And they kind of might have missed the boat on it. I hope that's not the case. I hope she still gets another chance. But I feel like TK has done this before. He did it with the Acclaim before, when New York wanted them to win, and then he didn't pull the trigger right away. And then they kind of lost that momentum that it could have just took them to the upper tier. But I hope Julia bounces back from it.
I think she will. I think this could give her a little more of a darkness, because she finally lost. She can be berated and kind of put down by Brody, and then it kind of makes her that much more psycho. I mean,
a little bit
development of the character, but I agreed with everything you said. With that, we heard from Malachi recently about just a little bit of a nagging injury, nothing serious, no surgery, so he's taking some time, but He's taken these opportunities to be home when he needs to be rehabbing so that he comes back strong. That's okay. And then you got Brody. Okay. Where is he? Where is Buddy?
It's a good question.
I'm pretty sure he's back in Australia. I was reading.
Yeah, Buddy and Rio were just in Australia together. That's why Rio was gone off TV for a few weeks.
They got married, didn't they?
No, they were there. I don't think they got married. I think they were just there visiting family. They were at like a soccer game too, I saw.
So is Buddy having work visa issues, or is there anything preventing him from going to shows?
No, I think they just went on vacation.
Okay. So because Malachi was taking time, give Buddy time. Brody's got a broken hand, but they're using him as he's in America. This works. I did see TikTok of Zelina Vega and Malachi working in the ring, doing some fun stuff. So he's happy. They'll be back. We'll get the House of Black. Tag team action. You got Bucks. You got Guns. You got Lucha Bros. You got Orange Cassidy. And you got Hook. Justin, you want to break this one?
I mean, it was what you would expect from one of those four-way tag matches. It was basically nonstop, fast paced, fun. I mean, when you have Orange Cassidy in any match, you know it's going to be a banger and also a good time. Same with the Young Bucks, and I guess you know what, all of them are good, and it just was really, really fun.
Do you guys see what happened to Ray Phoenix? All I hear was like, oh, he was down, and I heard a comment like, oh, he's being taken out? So
yeah, he was banged up, so they had to pull him from the match because they have some other matches with him coming up defending the international title. So that was their way of getting him out of the match safely without him having to do a lot of work.
Smart.
Is he hurting though right now?
He's just dinged up. Nothing major that they need to pull him off TV or take the title off of him. But they just didn't want to risk it because they're having to rewrite their creative because Mox was never supposed to lose that belt.
Well, obviously.
So when does the belt go back onto Mox?
I would say when he's cleared.
Do you think they're going to give it right back, basically? Like, as soon as he's back, it's just going to be like okay, back?
Yeah.
Same thing as Punk did.
Yeah.
I hope not right away, because I think Phoenix can deserve a bit of a respect. Let him have a bit of a run, not just being a placeholder. But, you know, I know Mox is the guy. So,
well, Dusty mentioned it last week that, like, you have Ray Phoenix that, like, keeps stepping up into these roles, and he's always there for TK, and he can have banger matches. But you put the title on the guy, and for his first defense, you have him coming out to his Lucha Bros intro. Yeah. Right, Dusty? And that was just a sign of disrespect.
Like, he has a song. And I don't get how, like, I get it. Vince is a Nazi, so to speak. And if a sound guy screwed up, they'd be fired within a second. Or at least that's the way it was. So it's very rare. But, I mean, we also lost it with Ospreay at that one show. Maybe the sound guy just needs to figure his shit out. They win. Bucks win. Now we got
FTR
and Bucks. Could that possibly happen?
That could be if FTR beats Aussie Open,
which could be a heavy match. Let's get to it right after we get through Hangman and Swerve. What a banger, Zach! What a banger. Go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was my favorite match from Swerve. Like, other than Indy, almost ever. I liked the story. I liked, obviously the crowd was behind Swerve because they were in Washington and that's where he's from. So there was no surprise there. So I mean, I love when he hurt Hangman's arm and the story kind of changed a bit. And it was, can Hangman still beat him with the one arm? And they almost did it. And they still made Hangman look strong. I think I was wondering if Hangman was going to win and then Swerve was going to beat him later. Because I do think Swerve was going to eventually beat him. I just didn't know if it was going to be at Wrestle Dream. But Swerve, I think, needed the win. So I even though he's not my favorite, I'm glad that he won because I think he needed it. And they still made Hangman look strong because he didn't. He used the crown.
Yeah, this match was awesome. Me, Uri, and Drummond actually watched this together, and it takes a lot for us to even get guys like us who've been watching wrestling for so many years with false finishes, and they got us a couple times with false finishes in this match.
I mean, to be honest, that's not a fair assessment for me. I get caught with false finishes every single match, pretty much.
Give yourself some credit.
I fall for them all. I fall for every single one most of the time.
They got me and Uri with the okie doke a couple times.
Is it? Did it also? I was gonna say, like, when does it give the crowd? Does it give AEW a chance to see what it actually looks like when? Oh my God, what's his name? Just like he just lost. I just lost my train of thought there. Strickland, Swerve. Sorry. Did he have a chance because the crowd was so behind him to actually hear what it sounds like if he was a babyface? But he still has that evil streak. He still has that streak, just like MJF has kept that mean streak, but he's over. It almost feels like we're entering like a modern day Attitude Era, where like the heels are cool. They're really cool. They're so over. Again, it just brings back. And so I think Strickland can be one of those guys that can be over, but still keeps, the essence of what he does is that being that cheat, that, it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you cheat. Jesse Ventura motto.
Yeah. Kind of like an anti-hero.
Yeah.
What the hell is that noise? Are you guys getting it?
I know. I can hear it too.
It's Zach's feedback.
Uri, clean that up.
I don't know how.
Come back on
I don't
camera,
have a
maybe.
professional setup. I'm not like you, Brandon. Pardon?
That's the Costco special.
Jesus.
I'm just using my phone, guys.
We've been touting Swerve for his work for like at least the last 3 months. And he's been taking it to that next level every time. And we talked about his selling. We talked about his mic work. We talked about his moves. We've talked about his look. And Drummond, you've never been over on Swerve. Are we there yet?
Nope.
Oh, you're a dirt.
Wow.
What a scumbag.
Wow, Drummond.
You're still against Swerve after that. Oh, well, then it's one of your guys. So, of course, you're going to hate him for that.
I don't get it. I mean, he's a good wrestler, but I mean, everyone's a good wrestler. I don't really enjoy the promo. I don't really like wrestlers whose gimmicks are rappers unless it's comedy based, and that's kind of the vibe that I get. That he's just a rapper.
He's a mogul.
Yeah,
he's not just a rapper.
Back you on that.
Yeah.
I can't back you. Anybody that and it goes in on that presser where he talks about all the guys that he's set up connection to AEW. What that does is it creates a demographic because the Black community has always been wrestling fans. The South was a huge hotbed. This is a character that it's not for us. We can enjoy how great he is, but it's like Swerve said, it's for the kids that see him and go, oh, he's like me. Same thing with a football player. Oh, he's like me. I can be that.
He likes to say that it's for the culture.
And it is for the culture.
Yes.
Everything he does is for the culture. And I think he would be a great person to hold a belt and be able to push that. I think his in-ring, I think his mic skills, I think his heel work, I think everything's there. Now, I would always fear that putting gold on him drags him down because we've seen that a lot with guys where as soon as they get gold, and I mean, it even kind of happened with Hangman for a touch there while he was holding the title.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's a big weight to carry.
Yeah.
But
The thing that was very eye-opening to me, going back to that presser, not just what Swerve said, but prior to him coming out, what everybody was saying about him. You had TK, you had Adam Copeland, who just got there, but Bryan Danielson, man, they were all putting Swerve over just for being a company guy, doing everything the right way, hard work, dedication, and just being there when the company needs them to be. And I think that hard work's finally paying off, because it would piss us off. He would get to that point, get a shot at like the international title and lose. Get to that point, get a shot at the TNT title and then lose. So finally, you know, my hopes were up high for this match. But I was like, are they going to pull the rug out from under him again? And thankfully, he got that win. Like Zach said, like I said earlier, you still kept Hangman strong by elevating Swerve to that hopeful main event level that we all know that he can, you know, aspire to be at.
Now that we are on that point, we see it, and he got the like, this is the big W that we've been waiting for. It didn't work with Darby. It didn't work with anyone, but this is the big W. Now we get to try and give him a couple W's and start to build and see where the reaction is. Because the first time, I don't think it was ready. Second time, I thought they slept on it. This is the third chance to really give him the push. Let's see if it actually works. I know we've been waiting for it, like me and Breezy, and I know you were in on it, Maddie. Urai, where do you stand on this?
On Swerve?
Yeah.
I think Swerve is the one, maybe not the one guy, but I think close to the one guy who kind of came in out of nowhere. He wasn't really handed anything. And once he took his ball and he ran with it. And I don't think there's many guys that have been put in that position that have done that in that company.
Keith Lee.
Exactly.
Joe did.
Pardon?
Joe did.
Joe, like Samoa Joe?
Yeah.
But Samoa Joe he didn't get brought in with nothing.
No, it's true. He's got a history that's massive and multiple title wins. Okay. I'm just trying to think of people who tossed the ball and ran with it. And I think I can't really see anyone like, I mean, unless we go MJF, but he's the anomaly on every situation.
But I mean, MJF and Darby Allin, like when that company started, those guys were put in a spot.
Yes,
like they were put, like, I won't say a top spot, but a high end mid card spot.
He's one of those guys that got away, and like Malachi, but I mean, he was given his role.
Miro to an extent.
But there's a couple ball drops, and Miro, Andrade, then Rush, they all fall under that umbrella. So I do agree. Yes, he hasn't dropped the ball yet. He did business the right way. He put over the guys that needed to be put over in that moment. Now it's your turn. We're going to put you over. Let's see how you do. So then when you think about Swerve as a top guy heel, you think, can he legitimately take the belt from MJF?
So I don't know if he can take the belt from MJF, but I'll say this because I kind of rag on some of those random title matches. But if he had an international or TNT title shot tomorrow and he won, it's now believable.
Yeah.
And it wasn't believable 3 months ago when he was losing Orange Cassidy.
Yes. Orange Cassidy, there's another one he was putting over big. The next match I'm going to give to Zach because I know how much he absolutely loves this wrestler. And that's Wheeler Yuta facing absolute Ricky Starks.
I love one of them.
Yeah.
It was okay. I didn't think it was anything super special. I feel like it was a match put in there to kind of bring the crowd down before you built them back up a little bit. I'm not really high on Wheeler Yuta. I think
why?
Because he is what Drummond was talking about earlier. Is his gimmick is he's a good wrestler in a world of great wrestlers nowadays. He's
the whipping boy of the BCC.
Yeah, yeah. He's never done anything for me, even when he was in Ring of Honor and doing some of the New Japan stuff he was doing. And I mean, he has good matches, but I mean, I think this was kind of just thrown in there to give Ricky something. Because Ricky had nothing. He didn't have another opponent really because he couldn't face Mox. And it was just to give him a win on a pay-per-view, I think, and it was what it was.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
The next match was touted a dream match a long time ago once he started really kicking strong in New Japan. We've watched Zack Sabre Jr. come up. We saw him as that skinny technical wizard.
He's still that skinny technical wizard.
He's got a little more size to him to be believable. And this was one of my issues is you guys remember, I've always stood by technical wrestling is boring. And we really, I hate saying that, but it's true in an aspect of sports entertainment.
It's not for everyone. Casuals don't like it.
Exactly. However, when you have arguably the best wrestler alive in Bryan Danielson, also being an absolute technical wizard, and one of the things from the presser that he said that blew my mind was somebody asked him about advice to becoming a technical wrestler, and he broke it down like, you have to master one thing. So go to the basics. Once you've got the basics, you go to the next thing and master it. You work on that one thing until you master it. Once you've mastered a whole bunch of technicalities, it's easier to learn the rest. And I'm like, he just turned it on like that.
Yeah.
So for somebody to make such a technical masterpiece and make it entertaining, Breezy, tell me about this match.
These guys were painting, man. They painted with that canvas at Wrestle Dream. This was what Drummond's been saying for the last couple of shows, the actual only dream match of Wrestle Dream. And it lived up to everything and more for me. Just because of Mox on commentary, they took it to that next level. Because he was like, you know, me or you on the couch, like, holy shit, did you see what just happened? Even with that dragon leg whip that looked like he tore every ACL, PCL, and MCL in Zack Sabre's knee. And Zack Sabre is so damn believable, you don't know if he was working or shooting at that point. It's just something so simple as a dragon leg whip. And you're going to have me, somebody who's watched wrestling for 30 years, going, holy shit, are they going to be able to continue? This match was amazing. This match was so good. I haven't done this for a while. I actually went back and watched it again just by myself. And it was absolutely phenomenal, even on a second watch. I loved this match. And I hope this leads to them having a rematch at Wrestle Kingdom.
There was so much in this match. Like, we're talking Romero specials. We're talking Jim Break specials. We're talking Trees of Woe. Oh, my God. LaBelles. It just kept going.
The transitions.
It was how... And even Brian, after in the presser, when he says, it was amazing for the first time in my career, I'm laying on the canvas, getting rolled up, and I'm looking at him like, oh, how is he doing this? And I'm just like, they put on a beautiful performance. Maddie, do you got anything on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I watched afterwards and listening to Danielson, he said, like, he has been waiting so long to have a match like this at that style in front of that crowd, being a home crowd. And knowing, if you know how important and what he gave to that, and then watching it back, even though some people are like, the style, but that's his style. He's doing the thing he's best at, and he's able to showcase it. Like I said, it's not for everybody. It's a style, right? There's like the strong style, but all the different styles. And that was a clinic on that specific style. And those two guys with huge respect. And there's a definite respect, even if you're not a huge fan of the style, there's a definitely respect from the crowd, no matter what, because they know they're watching something special. They're just not, you might like, you might be a lucha person, right? You might love that kind of the Japanese style. So you got to hand it to like AEW, because if they're going to show lucha style, heavy on Japan, the hard hitting, whatever else there is, then you have to represent this. And I think they did a good job, and they did the big stage and gave it the biggest name, a dream match, right? So I think it was a respectful match. And I think for the professional wrestling fans, you can't complain about a match like this.
And to follow Breezy, I just thought about is they ended it in a way that it leaves you wanting more. By Brian giving in and not submitting, he didn't beat Zack Sabre Jr. in a technical way. The Busaiko knee and everything, it looked so great, and it was amazing, and it was the right way to do it because Brian has to have the win here, but it opens that door. Brian wants to go to a little bit of Japan, but I mean, this just smells like Wrestle Kingdom.
It's good shit, but that's also why Zack Sabre Jr. didn't shake Brian's hand.
Yes.
And I can't be mad at Zack for not shaking his hand, because he didn't do what he said he was going to do leading up to the match, which was out wrestle him. He beat him with the knee.
Did you listen to the Brian's his little his vignette or his promo afterwards, that he said he actually questions if he was a better wrestler, because he goes, I actually had to knock him out. I didn't basically get him to submit. Yeah. So that opened the door where he's like, and saying, you know what? I don't actually blame him for not shaking my hand, because he knew he was a better technical wrestler. So I was like, ooh, this is still opening the door for, we need another one to prove who really is the best, right? Because he kind of opened that door, not feeling confident about the win, and still the doubts in his mind about who's the best technical wrestler. So I think it's setting the stage for another round for sure.
And Wrestle Kingdom is right there. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh yeah, I feel like with AEW's involvement, this upcoming Wrestle Kingdom is going to be one hell of a show. One hell of a show, and we'll get to that. But first, couple of Wrestle Kingdom's greatest. You got Will. You got Kenny. You got Coda. And somebody who has main evented, Chris Jericho. Then you're adding with a little flavor of Guevara and Takashita. I walk into this match and I'm like, don't care what happens, love it. Don't care. You could just dance the ballet or do some PWG hand grenade shit. I don't care. But it caught me. There were points that I was really popping as a kid. I think this was the best Coda's looked in a bit, at least since his exit of Japan. I think Coda really needs to get back to where he is the Golden Lovers. And I love the fact that there is a patent on Golden Jets. That's unbelievable. Urai, how did you feel about this match?
It was a good match. I didn't like it wasn't anything I didn't think it was going to be. And then that just means that it didn't let me down. It wasn't a letdown of a match. Everyone got their spots in. I like who won because it prolongs the storylines for each individual feud that's going on in that 6-man. So I'm really excited to see where it goes. How long are they gonna, I feel like the Kenny and Takeshita stuff, I know that Takeshita and Don kind of singled out Coda when they did that one promo. Are they going to have a singles match? I almost feel like that has to happen before they do the next Kenny and Takeshita singles match, because that feud, I feel like that feud is really focusing on the two of them instead of Don. So I feel like it doesn't have the legs to stand on that the Jericho and Sammy stuff has. So I feel like that feud's going to end probably sooner than Sammy and Jericho does.
Hey, Dusty, do you remember last week we were giving some predictions, and I think, did you predict who said that the Callis family would win?
I think it was a pretty heavy, because it just makes sense for the younger guys and the guys coming up. You finish Ospreay hot on the American audience. You've got to give Konosuke a push. I think Jericho and him at DDT will be something. But yeah, no, it had to happen that way. And as much as I want, Jericho should win every match, this isn't a match that anyone on that team needed under their belt.
And just remember,
I think it was thinking Zach's point. With Jericho, or I think you guys were saying he's getting older. Yeah, that match I was starting to hold my breath when Jericho would do some moves. So I'm like, he's on the top rope, or he's line salt. So I'm starting to hold my breath now with Jericho. His body doesn't look as flexible. It's like a brick flying around. But no, it was good. I see why. I get it. Totally makes sense.
Sexy brick.
It definitely made sense that the Callis family won. But I don't know you guys, but I really feel Ospreay. Like it honestly feels he is that guy.
Yeah.
Like
yes,
it's just that streak, just being a bit of a dick. He just seems like that's who he is. Like he's totally got me sold. It doesn't even look like an act to me. Like that's how much I think he's just himself.
And I want to play to that. Yeah, I want to play to that. How far out are the contracts between MJF and Ospreay?
They're about maybe a month.
Okay.
MJF is January of 24.
Yeah.
And Will's February.
Okay. So pink.
Those are big ones.
I really want him over in WWE, but Ospreay I want in AEW. I just feel like he's that guy, and I think he's got enough love for TK that he'll do it. And
I mean, Ospreay's young enough too, where he can go to AEW for 3 to 4 years.
Yes,
and then if if his body still holds up after that, he can go to the Fed for 5-6 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, it doesn't. If he picks one over the other, it doesn't mean that he's not going to end up in the other place at some point.
Yeah,
because he's only 30 years old. The one thing that I want to say about that 6-man tag is, it did not kill. Even though Omega's now lost 2 6-man tags, he's not hurt by it.
No,
and Jericho's not hurt by it. Which is good for them. And good for those feuds. The other thing that killed me about that match is when Jericho and Kota did the Jericho and Sammy spot.
Yeah, and I just want to put TK over because everybody always shits on his booking. I feel like with the Don Callis family, he's doing everything right because the Don Callis family, to my knowledge, is undefeated right now. They have yet to lose.
They are.
So I mean, let's put TK over a bit there with that, and I think they're building to maybe adding Danny Garcia to that faction because Don's had his eye on him for a while. But we can touch on that in future shows.
But yeah, when Kota went on Jericho there and did the Sammy thing, that killed me.
That was funny. That's why I'm saying, I think Kota felt more comfortable finally. I think there was nerves. There was a lot that we don't understand as viewers that these guys go through. And if you read into his departure from New Japan, that was a really messed up situation. Mm-hmm. And there were allegations back and forth. And I was very bothered by what type of person he's going to be after it. And then he comes to AEW and he doesn't have his footing. Obviously, he didn't wear the right shoes for a extreme hell monster of a blood and guts mayhem. But I felt like he wasn't, there was rust. And
he's also not used to American TV wrestling, though.
True. There's a lot of
it's
different.
new to him.
Yes. But in this one, we saw Coda go. He had fun.
Yep.
I think Jericho welcomed him, and he felt that. I think the other boys, it's easy for Takeshita and him. I mean, the blood and guts, my favorite part was I had to watch the picture-in-picture between the two of them because they actually went at each other. But it hit on picture-in-picture. So that goes to the idea it's TV time, right?
Yep.
When we talk
Japan.
TV time, these guys are kings of TV time. FTR versus Aussie Open. Let's get to the tag talk. Where are you, Breezy?
This was a good match. It wasn't as good, I feel, as their New Japan match. There were a couple spots that were just plain missed, but I think that fell on Mark Davis's wrist actually being injured on that Power and Glory spot. But no, this was a solid match. I feel like the crowd was dead for this match because of that, just going through the whole emotion of Zach and Brian and what they did. It was hard to get into this match. And I think also when the Bucks had won the 4-way earlier, you knew that they were already going to be leaning towards the FTR match. So that kind of took away from it for me. But it was still good for what it was meant to be. Get a strong showing for Aussie Open on pay-per-view. And at the same time, get a really good title defense for FTR going into that 4th match with the Bucks.
No, this is the part that always hurts is injuries. And some people just get hit with bad luck. I guess Kyle Fletcher is going to get some more singles matches.
Well,
Mark Davis, man, his story really broke my heart. It went from injury to injury. Sorry?
What happened? One of the guys from Aussie Open?
Yeah, the big guy that just was injured as they signed.
Yeah,
So,
it seems like he's injured again. He might have broke his wrist in that match.
Really?
Did they confirm his injury in the presser afterwards?
No, they said he went to the hospital.
Yeah, and he sidestepped any heavies. He wasn't going to give us anything on injuries.
Give him the Cowboy Bob angle there or gimmick, and let's see. And maybe he can still go if he's in tags. He might still be able to go. Hopefully, it's nothing huge. Put a splint on it and see what happens. Hopefully,
right.
And then that way they don't lose their spot.
I definitely don't want them to lose, like, because since he's been back, it's just building and the crowd wants to yell Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Thank you.
I like these guys. I think they definitely hold their own. Hard hitting guys. They're fucking tall. I don't know if you guys notice when you see the FTR, because FTR, they're not small guys. I know they're not super tall, but like fuck that one, the one thin guy, he looks like he's like freaking like 6'7". Like they're big boys.
Kyle Fletcher?
Yeah. Like so it's impressive. I would love to see if Ospreay signs, because I was first time seeing them introduced together with Aussie Open. They came out as a trios.
Yeah, they're the United Empire.
Yeah, and I love that group. I think if he signs, and before he completely goes to a singles champion, I think if they were trios champion and had a feud with House of Black would be awesome.
Yes. Now you make me think, because you bring up Aussie Open's play to Will Ospreay, and since they signed, they haven't really been together on TV.
No, they haven't really referenced it.
And they still come out with the Aussie or the United Empire. They're still doing the United Empire hands. And it makes me go, well, why aren't you being there? Why aren't you around him? And it kind of makes me a little off on it. I think it's the same thing when they started with Juice and Jay wearing Bullet Club, but there's a separation. It's the same idea. There's still something there, but it doesn't get answered. So I don't know the affiliation, but we'll find that out probably next week. It'll be a 6-man with Aussie Open. And
I would just say one comment to that is putting Ospreay into the kind of the main event kind of status with the group, the feud. That's giving him a ton of exposure. So when he does decide to go with Aussie Open, he's even a bigger star because he had that exposure as an individual, and then he'll help the group overall as a trios and actually be like a real big force. And because he'll be a big player and had some good time so far.
I'm going to keep it with you, Maddie. I want you to open the door on Christian and Darby.
This was a good match, man, but it's getting I'm starting to cringe. Like I was watching Mick Foley Mankind matches. Like that's where I'm going. Where I'm like, just please don't do it. Like, don't throw him off it. Don't throw him on there. Like, I get it. Like, he's great. He doesn't have to do it. It's actually starting to be a bit bothersome. Like he generally looks. I don't know. He sells it amazing, but it's got hurt. He sells being hurt so well that sometimes you can't really tell how bad it is, because it always looks bad. So again, he doesn't need to sacrifice him as much, and he needs it. He's got talent. He needs to be around a lot longer. If he keeps on doing this, he's going to completely kill his career. I'd love to see him keep going. Just calm it down a bit. But interesting. I haven't seen. It's a nice twist of pulling the mat back. Haven't seen the exposed wood and using that. Of course, Darby. Who else would be open to do that? Which I thought that was a great kind of extra that we hadn't seen. But what really stuck to me was the throws and the landing on the stairs, and the multiple. Like I think it was twice where he was going to do it and he dropped them, and then he went back and actually really did it. And it's a bit tough. I don't know what you guys think on that, but
Darby was pretty amped up even before the match. He smashed the skateboard off the stairs and it came back and busted him open below the eye. So he had to cut even before the bell rang.
Thinking about the pulling it back and you mentioning you haven't seen it in a while. Breezy, what's your favorite pull back the ring match?
The one that we were there live for, LAX.
Okay. Justin, do you got one?
There's a name for it. It's
we weren't at the Concrete Jungle. That was at a
right, but we were there for the build of that feud. What's the name of that match?
Concrete Jungle.
Yeah, and it was LAX.
But it was LAX and Homicide and Hernandez.
Yeah, and just violent stuff. Even watching those type of matches, not even them landing on it, I keep thinking, like, just if your arm gets pinched in between it, like, it's not fun. It's not a good day at the office.
Justin, you got one?
So I'm trying to remember at GCW in Toronto, did Masha and Mike Bailey? Yeah.
Yes. There's killed me. I gotta go Gargano and was it Gargano and Cole or was it Psycho Killer?
It was Ciampa.
Yeah, and they tore the whole place apart.
Yeah, Chicago street fight, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, did Gargano also do that with Cole?
No.
Okay.
Because they had the two 2 out of 3 falls was their second match.
Yeah.
But the other one was the cage.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the 2 out of 3s. I thought he exposed.
We were there. Brandon Ciampa killed the Bucks though in Ring of Honor with the exposed ring.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Just one comment. I love the first fall finish of using the turtleneck to pull over Christian.
That was amazing. I'm glad you brought that up. That was amazing.
That was awesome. And then the roll up was awesome. That was a perfect first fall. And
his facial reaction when he finally pulls his face out like a little foreskin pull back, and there he is.
Jesus.
As I saw someone say on Twitter, Christian is doing a turtleneck, but Britney Spears is doing a visible thong.
Nice. Disgusting.
Christian getting a fall by count out too was a really smarmy piece of shit thing to do that fit him perfectly.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing you said there, Matt, was about Darby selling. I'm about 75% sure he's never selling.
Yeah. This is real.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's what's scary.
In the presser in a sling, and he's more nervous about getting up and getting ready to climb Mount Everest. Forget about it. The guy doesn't break. He will kill himself in this, and we will go, well, geez, why did we watch it?
I mean, I know there's people who have a really high tolerance to pain. They're out there, and I hope he is one of these guys, because if he feels pain like I do, my God, like I don't know what he's thinking. So he has to.
Foley was one of them.
Yeah, Nick was.
You have to have a different
even,
level of pain threshold for sure.
You go Sabu.
Oof.
Can I get Sabu on that one?
Jeff Hardy,
obviously.
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy. We see what's going to... So Darby is going to be Jeff Hardy now. That's scary. How do we feel about the Nick Wayne?
I loved it.
Yeah.
It's an actual heel turn that makes sense. Yep. And you don't get a lot of those lately in AEW. But, yeah, he never forgave Darby for AR Fox beating the shit out of him at his home. And it's a logical reason to turn on him.
Yep.
This fits the father figure character, because now you've got a guy who's 18, who's actually the age that could be his son age, right? So that is giving more of that grand wizard, that Sith, the Sith Lord and the Apprentice, right? So it's good.
Absolutely. What I love about this heel turn, this is what I liken it to. So back in the early days of TNA, the Wednesday TNA wrestling shows, when you first turned AJ Styles heel, that's what it reminds me of.
Yep, I can see that.
I dig it. I do like it. I think it gives him legitimacy. Who turns? His mom? Oh, God, yes.
Wow.
Put her on the hub, man.
She can turn
family. They can have vignettes where they have like family dinner. You can see the Christian Jay Russo, whatever his real name is, family dinner. You can have the mom there, stepdad Christian, and Nick Wayne just having Thanksgiving dinner together.
It's good vignettes. I'm into it. I love the sound of it.
And now Nick Wayne can celebrate Thanksgiving twice.
Yes. Nice. That's awesome. The Canadian. Yes. So the one thing that with Nick Wayne, when Christian was in Scrum, we're going to move right into Christian's Scrum piece because there was so much pieces of gold. He came in full character. He was not going to break his facial expression for anybody. And Jay, when you listen to his podcast with Edge when they were doing that, and he's just a sarcastic, funny son of a bitch. And this character is so built well, and he's hitting it on all levels. So he goes in and he asks him about Nick Wayne, and he goes, he's a good boy with some direction. He's a good boy. I want a good boy t-shirt off of that alone.
He absolutely castrated Brian Alvarez.
That was delicious. Breezy, break that down for me.
Oh, it was so good. He just said, "Oh, what would you give that? A star rating? You're the star rating guy." And then he asked him if he used to wrestle. Brian Alvarez was so flustered he said no at first, but meanwhile he does wrestle. Christian just had him in the palm of his hands the whole freaking time.
If any, like the presser had so many different pieces to it. There was sadness, there was laughter, there was hope, there were all these different things. I couldn't believe a press conference had me wanting more. But
there was TK shot putting his cell phone into the crowd.
Oh, that was funny. You want to see this picture? I got a picture for you. You want to see Trust here? What is he doing? Christian, next level. Yeah. I can't believe how good of a heel he's doing right now. Bryan Danielson, we talked about most of his pieces, but one person I need to talk about is they asked him about talent that aren't there yet, and he went right to the bounty hunter, Brian Keith. Ooh! He sees him. He's coming. Yep. I guarantee it.
Where's he from?
What about bringing Brie Bella back?
Brian Keith did a Rampage. He faced Hangman maybe about a month ago on Rampage.
Yeah.
He does the odd GCW. He does Defy.
Yeah.
And I think Black Label Pro.
Yeah, Brian basically said he sticks around after Collision and watches the Ring of Honor tapings, and he likes to watch as much as possible, just to keep his finger on the pulse of what's going on in the Indies, but also who to bring up to AEW. And yeah, Brian Keith was one of the names that captured his attention.
His reaction to his best friend being in the company, talk about a no-sell. That face ain't breaking. I already told you. I only have one friend. That's Luchasaurus. Killed me.
Christian can't miss right now.
No.
Bryan Danielson's we ran through. It was beautiful. Darby came out with a boo-boo. TK looked very scared, hoping that he would work through it. Jericho and Kenny. Although it was very smart and I really liked what they said because they were out of their element and just giving you a side of Kenny that's the manager. But Kenny didn't look like he wanted to be there at all. The whole time I'm sitting there and he looked boo-boo. He looked over at Tony and he says, in regards to Coda, and he goes, "Are we bringing him back?" He says, "Oh, I definitely will be bringing him back." Then he's, "Yay, Coda's coming back." Like, wouldn't you know that?
Yeah.
There was just so many pieces that made me feel like the body language was off. Maybe Kenny doesn't like doing those. Maybe he's very uncomfortable.
I don't think he does.
I just figured he wanted to get back to his Street Fighter 6 training for the big matchup with Mighty Mouse.
That's funny. Strickland, we talked about. His was good. A lot of people putting him over, so that's a huge thing. MJF really breaking down the science with his face turn and how it's working, and he's uncomfortable at times, but he's loving it. So
but being the guy, how he's actually being the guy for AEW, and he's embracing that. And he said, "Adam Copeland's here, but he's not taking my spot." Yeah, he ran down a whole list.
So, watching the presser, watching everything, that's a lot of wrestling. A lot of wrestling this week. I like these weeks. So then we'll talk about it. What do we got this weekend, boys? Anything?
It's Thanksgiving. Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that there's a couple of GCW shows. Wrestle Revolver's back this weekend. Fastlane Saturday. But I think that's about it.
Yeah, like Maddie said, we're all going to be with our families doing the turkey thing. I mean, the Cowboys have a huge game against the Niners that I'm kind of looking forward to. Sunday Night Football. But yeah, Fastlane. Fastlane is what I'm looking forward to. All the tag team extravaganzas.
Yeah.
Going down at that show. We've run a bit long. I don't think we're going to do Fastlane predictions, but
it's true. We should start looking at the bigger pay-per-views. This is one of their top 4. Kidding. It actually looks good. I did a preview through it, and it does make me want to watch some matches. But I am taking off to Welland. I'm going to go check out Millennial Wrestling Organization, MWO. They've got a Halloween show. You got Jesse Bieber versus Tarek. I just want to see them go.
What day is that show?
I believe that's the Sunday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then you also have people like Del Bruno versus Bia. I think that's a very obscure match. And if they do it right, it could be very entertaining. So I want to see what that could be. The usual suspects. So I'll check that one out, give a little bit of a breakdown next show, see how it is.
I don't know if anyone realized this because we didn't talk about it.
Yes.
But next week, NXT and Dynamite are going head-to-head again.
Yeah, I knew that.
Tuesday Night Wars are back, baby.
And I watched NXT while we were doing this.
Yeah.
And yeah.
AEW might be screwed.
What do you got?
I think it's because the NBA is doing its season openers, and that's occupying the time.
So I'm not going to spoil this week's results. So what I'm going to tell you has nothing to do with anything that happened this specific week. But they are doing a match next week between Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker. And Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker both have seconds in their corners. Braun Breaker's is Paul Heyman. Carmelo Hayes' is John Cena.
Jesus.
And Asuka is going to be on that show. And there will be a special announcement from Cody Rhodes.
From who?
Cody. Rhodes.
Oh, wow.
So Cody is on NXT going head-to-head with Dynamite. Just let that sink in your mind.
Yeah, but that Dynamite is Adam Copeland's debut. So, I mean,
But John Cena's on NXT.
That's crazy.
Also,
that's fun show to talk about, boys.
Also, shout out to Jakaya Jackson that I saw on NXT as well, or whatever. That's all I'm going to say.
Sounds good, boys. Think we did a nice little run through. Until we meet again, so long. That's the Dusty finish.